Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and most unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope all of you had a fantastic weekend. Beautiful weather for the most part here in Western Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Coming in here today, I was expecting to go fully Pittsburgh Steelers. Training camp continues on. Preseason game coming up this weekend. Excited to watch not Steelers football, but football with Steelers players on the field. Really not going to expect much this weekend from the preseason game. You're not going to see too many veterans, but hey, at least we get to get a good look at some rookies, some guys, fighting for the back end roles on the defense and offense, good stuff like that. That was up until the Pittsburgh Pirates continued to be the Pittsburgh Pirates. Quite honest with you. I mean, just when, we had the trade deadline from hell, and we all were like, all right, from this point on, the Pirates, they can continue doing their stupid stuff, and they will not hurt us anymore. Let's focus on the Steelers here. And then they go out this weekend and they lay stinker after stinker against possibly the worst team in baseball history. So we are going to start off the show with that and some more gaslighting from General Manager Ben Cherington this weekend. So we'll get our frustrations of the Buccos over and out of the way first, and hopefully quickly. And then we will also talk about the Steelers, like I mentioned, what all they did in training camp. Since we last talked, they had 3 more training camp practices, including their Friday Night Lights practice, which of course is always a big hit with the fans. And also, they have reached out to the Washington Commanders for a certain wide receiver. Could they get their coveted wide receiver 2 that they have been lacking for a good part of 2 years now? We will discuss all of that and anything else we happen to come along throughout the show here today. First thing is first, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I'm live again. Also, leave a like, share this live stream, and drop a comment in the comment section. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, get those in the chat, and I can pop those up on screen at a moment's notice. I love interacting with you fine folks that way. Also, go give me a follow at Steel City SR on these 3 other social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and X. Also, be sure to tune in to SCSR60 later tonight, a new type of video that we started at the beginning of last week, and I think it's become a good hit with all of you viewers out there. Get the daily news reports involving Pittsburgh sports in a video 60 seconds or less, so be sure to check that out later tonight. Like I said, was going to talk about the Steelers for the most part in the show here today, but then the Pirates, they were just so bad that you couldn't help but, not talk about them. They had a 3-game series this weekend in Colorado against the Rockies, who are on pace, I think, to be the worst baseball team, at least record-wise, in the history of the MLB. Let's start with Game 1 Friday night. Oneil Cruz and the boys, honoring late great Dave Parker here, they got bopping early and often. It was 1-0 in the top of the first inning when Oneil Cruz hit a grand slam. That made it 5-0. Andrew McCutchen as well, he got in on the fun. He hit a 3-run home run to make it 9-0. The Pirates, a 9-0 lead to end the first inning. They chased Rocky starter pitcher Anthony Senzatella, who I think only recorded 1 out, maybe 2. 9 runs, 10-plus hits, a grand slam, and a 3-run home run. The Pirates, they are the second team in MLB history to do that in the first inning. The only other team to do that was the Cincinnati Reds in 1893. The Reds, they beat the Louisville Cardinals in that game in 1893, 30-12. Looked like the Pirates, they were going to be on pace to do that, and then things took a turn for the worse. Aside from Oneil Cruz showing off an absolute cannon that he has for an arm out there in center field, if you haven't seen the throw that Oneil Cruz made Friday night, I suggest that you go back and watch it. Nothing went right for the Pirates after that. I believe Andrew Heaney only went 3-4 innings. The bullpen took over. I think Thomas Harrington had a rough go of it. He just got recently caught up and then sent back down. More on that in a moment. But seems like every single person that came in from the Pirates bullpen was just getting hit around. The Bucks, they did do their fair share of hitting. They continued, putting up runs, but the bullpen, they were just leaking too much water. Then Dennis Santana comes in, bottom of the 9th. Pirates have a 4-run lead. Try to close this thing out. Santana gets hammered and hammered and hammered again. And then Brenton Doyle, center fielder for the Rockies, probably their best player left on their roster, if I'm being quite honest with you, hits a 2-run walk-off home run. The Pirates lose 17-16. A 9-run first inning. And the Rockies, I think, complete one of the most insane comebacks that you will ever see in your entire life. The Pirates, the first team since at least 1901 to score 16 runs in a game and lose. Pretty par for the course for the Bucks on this season. I'm almost left speechless when I say this because it seems so far-fetched, so insane. And the Pirates, they keep finding new lows once you think they hit rock bottom. Codify, they do a good job tracking stacks and analytics for baseball. The Pirates, heading into the bottom of the 9th inning, at one point had a 99.9% chance to win the ball game. As a matter of fact, they were pretty much hovering around that 99.9% win probability rate throughout the whole entire ball game, and they still found a way to lose. Like I said, the bullpen was just leaky throughout the entire ball game. Donnie Kelly, he couldn't have, made a right choice. Probably not because of his fault. It just seems like any guy he would have brought in to stop the bleeding, they just kept on giving up runs. Would have been nice if the Bucks would have had, in that game, a David Bednar to close it out. Maybe he would have done better. But hey, judging by his first outing with the New York Yankees, he wouldn't have made a difference either. By the way, Bednar, his first appearance with the Yankees, went 1 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits and 2 earned runs. One of the 3 Yankee bullpen additions that did not fare well this weekend for the Yankees. Game 2, Saturday afternoon. The Bucks, they recalled right-handed reliever Dari Moreta, big bank, back in the big leagues. We knew that was coming, judging by, his rehab stints, had his fair share. Now he's back with the team. Great to see Moreta back. Maybe he'll be able to provide some veteran stability to this bullpen. Who knows? Cherington, after getting shilled Friday night, was sent back down Saturday morning. Game 2, Liover Peguero. It was his day. The Liover Peguero legendary game began the afternoon with a leadoff home run. I kind of like him in the leadoff spot, not going to lie. I know he and Spencer Horwitz, they're kind of fighting for that position. But we'll say I like Peggy up near the top of the batting order rather than the bottom. He's got wheels too. You would love to get him on the base early and often. Anyway, yeah, it was his game. Led off with a leadoff home run. Then top of the 5th inning, he was at it again, hit a 3-run home run, made it 4-0. By the way, Peguero, he put himself in some great company. More on that here in a minute. Paul Skeens, it was a Skeens day Saturday. Not his best afternoon, but certainly not his worst. 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs. I think 3 of those came in on a solo home run. Not going to inflate him hitting a home run or giving up a home run too much. It is Coors Field, mile-high ball carries out there. Struck out 8, walked 2, just threw 94 pitches. Got 18 whiffs, though, so had his swing and miss stuff. However, left the ball game. The 4 earned runs, he left when the ball game was 4-3. Whoever comes in from the bullpen gives up a run, so Skeens gets credited with the run and also gets a no decision. Again, bullpen continued to sell. The Rockies ended up putting 8 runs in that ball game. Liover Peguero, again, continuing his legend game, had a meaningless home run in the bottom of the 9th, I think with 2 outs. And that was the final score, 8-5. Again, bullpen terrible. Peguero, the only one who showed up to the ballpark. He became the 4th youngest Pirate to hit 3 home runs in a game. The other 3 batters before him who were younger to hit 3 home runs: Aramis Ramirez in 2001, McCutchen in 2009, and Jack Sawinski 3 years ago in 2022. He is also the 3rd Pirate ever to hit 3 home runs in a game and drive in all the team's runs. So it was Colorado Rockies 8, Liover Peguero 5. Maybe Peguero can, unlock something and he can become the next legendary player for the ball club, because the only other 2 Pirates to accomplish a feat, like I just said, Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell. So that'll be a nice trivia question that no one will be able to get to the answer to one day. Clemente, Stargell, and Peguero. But yeah, that was terrible there. And then moving on to Sunday here, Pirates wrapping up the series, looking to salvage 1 game out of a second half of a week from hell, the trade deadline, and losing 2 games to the worst team ever. Tell me if you heard this one before. Pirates get up to an early lead and a big one in the 1st inning. Tommy Pham in the 1st, having a 3-run home run to begin the ball game. He also recorded his 500th RBI. Congratulations to him. Bucks continued their success. Top of the 2nd, Spencer Horwitz. He continues to hit well as of late. A 2-run home run for him. Home run for him. I think he also had another one later in the ball game. Right here. He had another one, a 3-run shot, made it 8-1, pimped that one out, as Noah Hiles from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette said. Then Mitch Keller. Hopefully this isn't a sign of things to come for him. We know over the past couple of years, when the second half of the schedule hits after the trade deadline, he tends to, slide down a hill. gave up back-to-back-to-back home runs before he was pulled. 5 earned runs from him. He got yanked. Thankfully, the Pirates bullpen did not implode like we saw in the previous 2 games. They ended up winning that one 9-5. But let's be honest, a bit of a gentleman's sweep by the Rockies. The Pirates, in every single one of their games, got all their offense out early, and the pitching was just brutal. Terrible series, capping off a terrible week for them. They are the only team ever to, or not the only team ever, but it's pretty rare that the Pirates, that a team scores 30 runs in a 3-game series and they end up taking only 1 game out of the series against a team like the Colorado Rockies. Terrible for them. And I'm trying to, keep a level head here today. I'm just going to read through what I got here and not get too emotional. Not going to have a big blow up like I did on Friday on stream here. But yeah, continues a almost Seinfeld like comedy like season for the Pirates. Let's just go over, what they've done this year. The protests from the fans, sell the team chants at the home opener, the Bucko Brick debacle, which I think fans just recently started to get their makeup bricks, the Roberto Clemente thing in the outfield, the fan beating the usher with the belt, the fan falling from the Clemente wall, Derek Shelton gets fired, Tommy Pham getting suspended for his salute he gave to a fan, Dennis Santana jumping up and slapping a fan, the trade deadline from hell that just happened, and this series against the Rockies, with the headliner being the implosion on Friday night. The 2025 Pittsburgh Pirates, an absolute comedy show. And I mean, all you can do is laugh, really. I mean, honestly, I don't feel angry anymore. I don't even feel sad. It's just, you gotta laugh with it. Just wonder, how much more suffering can we endure as Pirates fans? How lower can they sink? They continue to amaze me and find new ways to keep falling deeper and deeper into hell than what we all think they can do. And if it didn't stop there, Ben Cherington, just when things are going wrong off the field and on the field, Ben Cherington opens his mouth again. We heard on Thursday night after the trade deadline saying I can't even come up with the word, just brain-numbing things like, we weren't going to, I think one reporter said that the Pirates weren't even going to tender Bailey Falter, so they ship off one of their better pitchers for a nothing return. He said that the offers they had, they could have gotten big league bats. They also could have gotten better returns, but they chose what they got, which was next to nothing. Also said that he didn't feel that he needed to trade away guys like Andrew Heaney, Tommy Pham, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who are on expiring contracts and will most likely be, heading for better places in the offseason. So yeah, he said crazy stuff like that. And then went on his weekend radio show every Sunday, goes on 93.7 The Fan, and answers a couple of questions. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't, depending on how he feels. This weekend probably would have been a good time for him to, butt out and not answer questions. One damning quote that he had from his weekend show was when it came to the David Bednar and Key Brian Hayes trades, which, took a good bit of money off of the books for the Pirates. He said, quote, "We would never make a trade in order to save money. That's never part of the calculus." Not a single trade or move that he has made is ever made particularly to save money. That's coming from the guy who, if you remember correctly, last year cut Rowdy Tellez when he was 4 at-bats shy of earning $200,000, something like that. That comes from a guy who, said this weekend, and I'm also not making this up. I think he said this weekend something along the lines of something that the Pirates, they have this money now that they've made. They're going to invest it, into things to help the team. And he said that, us putting money into things besides bat, there's more to it than just, paying a bunch of bats. So from what I don't remember the exact quote, but from what he said, it sounds like, hey, get ready for more millions and millions of dollars to go into analytics and stat heads instead of people who are actually going out there on the field and making a difference in the ball game. So that was a good quote there from Ben Cherington. But yeah, I mean, he continues his gaslighting tour. We never make a trade in order to save money. He cut Rowdy Tellez when he was due money. He consistently, instead of signing, a multi-year deal, goes bargain bin shopping, which I came across that little tagline for him this weekend, bargain bin Ben. I love that one. Gonna keep that one in the old Rolodex here. And continues to just spew things, talk without saying anything, and say one thing and then he'll do the exact opposite. It's bad when Jeff Passan, ESPN MLB reporter, one of the best out there, when he comes out with an article talking about, who won and who lost the trade deadline. One of the categories that he had was the Pittsburgh Pirates Award for Frustrated Fan Base. The Pirates now have a category of terribleness when it comes to pissing off the fans, you and I, which, like I said, I think I got out everything I wanted to do on Friday. I'm not going to lose my head here. We're beyond rage. We're just numb with frustration now that we can't even, that it doesn't even come out that way. But yeah, the Pirates now have their own category, an award for frustrated fan base. And the best part is the Pirates, if you read my banner there on the bottom of your screen, can they do anything right? The Pirates, they didn't even win their own category. The Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox won that category, which I kind of have a gripe with passing. Pirates fans, frustrated fan base, if you're going to make a category all for our own, please keep it that way. Don't put the Cubs and Red Sox in there because last I checked, they won a World Series within the past 50 years over the Pirates instead of, us Pirates. They have reached a postseason within the last, 5 years over the Pirates. So I don't want to hear any of that. Speaking of a couple other things here, just to wrap up my rambling on the Pirates. Can they do anything right? They lost on the field 2 out of 3 games to the worst team in baseball history, possibly. And it was kind of, you could see it coming, honestly. I think my dad even said Friday night, Pirates up 9-0, watch them blow this game. And I never said to him, they got it. Not even the Pirates could do this, but they did. So they lose 2 out of 3 to the worst team in baseball. Ben Cherington conducts the worst trade deadline ever, in which, he got back a better prospect for Ke'Bryan Hayes than he did David Bednar, which, by the way, John Heyman, another MLB insider, he is on my list of people I strongly dislike right now because he continues to make the Pirates out like they absolutely won the trade deadline. And one of Ben Cherington's acquisitions, Rafael Flores, who headlined the Bednar deal, is going to be the next stud. Flores, by the way, he had, I think, 3 doubles in his first 2 games with the Indianapolis Indians. Heyman saying, "Oh, watch out for the Bucks." You just wait there, John. Wait till the Pirates get their stench on him. Kind of like how they did Nick York, by the way. Athletic prospect analyst Keith Law on 93.7 The Fan today said that Nick York was one of his favorite prospects once upon a time ago, and then somehow he had this, quote, crazy pause in his swing, and now he can't hit anything, and whoever changed his swing needs to be taken behind the woodshed. His words exactly right there. Yeah, Pirates can't win on the field. They can't conduct trades right. They can't sign the right free agents. They can't develop prospects the right ways, except, for at least a couple months, guys that they trade for. Then they come here and the Bucks break them. Just more terribleness consistently over and over. And it's not just us fans who are fed up with it. I mentioned this on Friday. I think someone reported after the trade deadline that some people within the organization were confused about the direction and what the Pirates were doing. Michael McHenry was one of those. He dropped another ominous tweet 5 hours ago. Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Posting that. I think we know who he's talking about or what he's talking about there. So, yeah. Nothing going right for the Pirates. No hope for the present or the future. As long as Ben Cherington and Bob Nutting are at the helm. And all we're left to do is watch and say, hey, what are they going to screw up next? That's all we can do. Watch and wait and see what wildfire they're going to start next. Might be with the Paul Skeens extension talks that apparently came out today. Dan Zangrilli, 93.7 The Fan, Bucca reporter, said that the Pirates have been in talks with Skeens about a contract extension. I think we all can say, no way in hell that's going to happen. Hey, Paul, you just watched us make the most stupidest trades possible, and then you just watched us also go out there on the field and blow a lead for you and lose 2 out of 3 to the Colorado Rockies. You want to put pen to paper on, a 5-year, 7-year contract extension, something like that? Come on, stay here in Pittsburgh and come suck with us and watch us waste your talent some more, why don't you? I'm not going to blame Skeens when he leaves one day. By the way, Skeens, congratulations to him. Talking about, him being the only one doing his part on a sinking ship. He won, I won't say won, he was named National League Pitcher of the Month for July. Had an 0.67 ERA, walked just 3 batters and struck out 36 in 27 innings over July. So congratulations to him. That is lights out stuff. And yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. Like I said, they haven't done anything right in any sort of facet of baseball operations or playing the game. And they'll probably find a way to hit some new low starting tonight. 3-game home series against the San Francisco Giants. The Giants will be looking to exact some revenge after the Bucs swept them in San Francisco earlier last week. Johan Oviedo, welcome back to Oviedo. He makes his big league return following Tommy John surgery in 2023. Excited to see him, how he looks after Tommy John. Hopefully gets back to the form that he had in 2023, where he was one of the best pitchers for the Bucs then. So we'll wait and see what Oviedo has in store for us tonight. But I expect the Giants to probably sweep the Bucs. Also, I hope that there's a big crowd on hand, honestly. We can talk about the Pirates, not going, not having fans attend games, and let's show them how angry we are by not going to the games. I personally am not going to go to the games. Part of the reason because I think I'm about an hour and a half outside of Pittsburgh, so I would go to a game if I was closer, maybe to just get the sights and sounds of the ballpark, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours of travel time out of my day and then go spend money to watch the team implode. So I hope there's a big turnout tonight. Honestly, I do, because then fans can boo the ever-living hell out of the team on the field and chant "sell the team" all night long. So hopefully we get some of that later. Real quick here, I said Oviedo was pitching tonight. Do we have a lineup yet? No, I do not see a lineup yet for the for the ball team tonight. So maybe that'll come later on in the stream. Who knows? But yeah, nothing going right for the Pirates, and we will see what new lows they can hit starting tonight. Before I continue on here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining me here tonight. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Up to 480 subscribers on the channel. So I think we gained, 5 more subscribers since the trade deadline stream back on Thursday. If you look at the bottom of your screen right now at the ticker, getting closer to 500 subscribers. So let's keep it going here. 480, just 20 away. Maybe we can get up to 500, maybe before the first regular season game for the Steelers. Who knows? Speaking of the Steelers, we are going to continue on talking about them right now. And some breaking news came across on Saturday. And shout out to Chris Halleck of DK Pittsburgh Sports. He had the exclusive on this. I want to get that out there. I know DK Pittsburgh Sports especially. They are, very iffy about, hey, give us some credit here. So there it is on the screen right there. The Steelers this weekend reaching out to the Washington Commanders about a trade for wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Now, Terry McLaurin, if you are not too knowledgeable in the world of football and the NFL, probably a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, really has had breakout seasons in recent years, especially last year with the emergence of Jaden Daniels down there in Washington. However, McLaurin, in the midst of a contract dispute with the Commanders, wants to get paid, big boy bucks. And since then, the Commanders, they've been hesitant to give him what he wants. He has requested a trade. I believe that was on Thursday, actually, when I was live for the MLB trade deadline. He said he wants a trade request. And the Steelers, they have a hole in the wide receiver room right now. They could use a wide receiver too. They got DK Metcalf. He's WR1 right now. But below him, Calvin Austin. You're hoping bigger things for him, but you don't know if he's going to be, wide receiver 2 material moving forward. Roman Wilson in training camp thus far, he's been hot and cold. You still have a little bit of promise for him as, a 3rd-round pick. And then behind those guys, you got, some 4 and 5 wide receiver types: Ben Skoranek, Scotty Miller, Robert Woods, Rock Taylor, an undrafted free agent who is opening up a little bit of eyes this training camp. But nobody really on the roster right now is wide receiver 2 material. So the Steelers reaching out to the Commanders about a trade, that is massive. It tells you that General Manager Omar Khan, he is serious this year more than ever about getting a definitive wide receiver 2 at least on the team, because last year we went through the same song and dance and he did not get one ultimately, and look how that turned out. So I like it that they at least gave the Commanders a call. However, if you read the second part of that post there from DK Pittsburgh Sports, they are not expected to land the star receiver. I can agree with that. I kind of expected that as well. McLaurin, if he were to come here to the Steelers, I think he would be wide receiver 1 immediately over DK Metcalf. However, I get the Steelers. They still have a good bit of cap space, $25 million. However, McLaurin probably going to be looking for similar money to DK Metcalf. You're talking in the $130 million over, 4 or 5 year range. Probably, who knows, $60 to $80 million guaranteed. And I just don't think even the Steelers, with a quarterback on a cheap contract and probably a rookie quarterback over the next couple years after that, that's just too much money to pay. 2 wide receivers. So I expect that. Maybe, I'm never going to say never to a trade like this. Said, there's no way the Steelers are going to get DK Metcalf, and they did. I said there's no way that they're going to get Jalen Ramsey, and they did. So I'm not going to rule anything out. I'm just, pointing out here, hey, Steelers, just like DK Pittsburgh Sports reported, they contacted the Commanders, to at least give them a, hey, is he truly available? If he ever comes available, give us a call back first. But yeah, do not expect Terry McLaurin to be here, especially now with training camps rolling on and the first game of the season getting closer and closer. So we'll see. Also, another thing with the Terry McLaurin thing, getting him on the Steelers and paying him that money is one thing. Also, you have to think about the compensation that you'll be giving up. I've seen some mock trades out there, people giving up, Alex Highsmith and a second-round pick, which I think would be fair compensation for McLaurin. However, second-round pick, you're going to probably need that next year because, you're going to use a first-round pick on a quarterback most likely, but that second-round pick, you may need that to get a wide receiver too. If you can't find one, you may need it to get another offensive tackle if Broderick Jones flames out, another defensive lineman if Cam Hayward retires, stuff along those lines. So just think that some stars lined up for the Steelers to make the moves that they did earlier this year. Metcalf, Ramsey, those types of trades, the stars aligned. However, this one, it just seems like they will not line up. So doesn't look like it's going to happen, but never say never. Also, funny, a kid at Friday Night Lights when Omar Khan was on the field chanted, "Omar, are you trading for Terry?" So thought that was hilarious. Speaking of Friday Night Lights, the Steelers, they had 3 more training camp practices over the weekend. Going to break down what happened in those training camp practices just a little bit. We're going to start with Friday Night Lights. Tradition for the Steelers, they make the crosstown trek on school buses from St. Vincent College to Latrobe Memorial Stadium. 13,000 fans there at Latrobe Memorial Stadium on Friday night, so outstanding turnout per usual. Some Steelers did not practice Friday night. Joey Porter Jr. Dealing with an undisclosed injury. He did not practice Friday. Isaac Seumalo and Broderick Jones, however, they were in pads and they were with the first team offensive line through walkthroughs. And then Isaac Seumalo then did not take place in anything else for practice the rest of the night. They were in pads Friday night, by the way. 7 shots per usual. Steelers started out with their 4th and 2 from their 4th and 2 7 times drill. Defense dominant. Aaron Rodgers looking for DK Metcalf on a corner route. Metcalf fell down. He was matched up with Darius Slay. Caleb Johnson tried to pound one into the end zone. Peyton Wilson came downhill to stop that run. Rodgers floated a jump ball for Pat Freiermuth, but Darius Slay, another great rep for him, got the PBU. Mason Rudolph came in, was looking for Scotty Miller, but Miller made the catch, got only 1 foot down. So defense won 7 shots right away, 4-0 victory for them. Caleb Johnson then came in, stiff-armed 2 defenders, really got Corey Trice on a nasty stiff arm. Hopefully more of that to come for Johnson. Also, Corey Trice getting the stiff arm there. He did get mentioned by Mike Tomlin at the end of practice for injury. Tomlin said that he slipped and that, it was going to hopefully be a minor injury. Not sure if it came on that stiff arm or not. If it is, that's Tomlin, just protecting his guy and protecting his dignity, saying that he slipped. So hopefully Corey Trice is all right. Obviously, no intent to injure on Caleb Johnson's part. Will Howard then came in, hit Kenneth Gainwell on an open slant route, and then find Kevin Fulch, one of the new tight ends who got added midway through camp. So 2 for 2 for Will Howard on the 7 shots. Good stuff from him. Backs on backers then. The team in pads, they did their backs on backers drill. Fans obviously looking forward to that drill a lot. Mike Tomlin, when he does these drills, says he doesn't want it to turn into an MMA audition with, tons of fights. Unfortunately for him, team didn't get the memo. Darnell Washington He is probably top camp darling throughout training camp thus far. Aaron Rodgers has been throwing to him quite a bit in the team periods during practices, and then lined up against TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, DeMarvin Leal, and Jack Sawyer. Darnell Washington getting the best in the majority of the reps against those four. Good stuff on his part. Also, I don't know whether you want to, credit it to Washington or take it as a slight to Broderick Jones. Washington just as big, if not bigger, than Broderick Jones, the starting left tackle, from things that I'm hearing and seeing. So, I think you're concerned by Broderick on one part, but also Darnell Washington, if he can, be kind of like a 6 tight end out there at almost all times, and also Rodgers, getting him involved in the passing game more, you could see big things from Big Mount Washington, Big 80 out there on the field this upcoming year. So good stuff from him on backers. Also on Sunday, Caleb Johnson, I believe it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday or Thursday. The Pat McAfee show was at Latrobe, and they did backs on backers that day. That was the first day in pads. Caleb Johnson had a rough go of it. He responded Friday night, went up against Mark Robinson, who, if you don't know who Mark Robinson is, probably 5th or 6th linebacker on the depth chart for the Steelers. He is a bull in a china shop because, he'll wreak havoc, but he doesn't necessarily know what he's hitting. I like a quote that I've heard from one of the Steeler reporters out there, and it perfectly describes him. Heat-seeking missile with a broken guidance chip. I love that. Anyways, he gave Johnson a run for his money on Wednesday, I believe. Came back Friday. Johnson got the best of him. Scrap then ensued right after it. Caleb beating Robinson twice. Also, Alex Highsmith was out there. And back to Broderick Jones here and some questions about him. Some very strong questions. Alex Highsmith smoked him in all 3 reps that he got against the starting left tackle. So backs on backers delivered as usual. Some guys looked good, some guys not so good. After that, at Friday Night Lights, they went into the team periods. No Cam Hayward in team periods, just did his own individual stuff and 7 shots, and then took the rest of the night off. I think he's earned that. Aaron Rodgers in 11 on 11 reps, just some stuff we saw from him, was on fire. Probably one of the better practices that we've seen from Rodgers. Was hitting Ben Skoranek, was hitting Jonnu Smith, Roman Wilson, DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson again. So was looking all right, Rodgers did. I think it was probably his second best practice of training camp. I want to say last Thursday was his best. Also, we got to see him use his legs. Very fair questions about, how Rodgers is going to move and, what's his mobility going to be like throughout the year. We did see him get on the run a tiny bit at Friday Night Lights. So at least that gives us a glimmer of hope that he's not going to be a statue back there. Also, the offensive line, I think from, 11 on 11, they did look better, picking up blitzes, keeping an eye on everyone. So that was good to see. However, not a part of that, Broderick Jones, Chris Carter, who covers the Steelers for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, said that Broderick Jones did 7 shots and the individual one-on-one drills, and that was about it for him. So interesting stuff there. Also, Jalen Ramsey, because Joey Porter Jr. did not play or did not practice on Friday night, Ramsey did all of the work at outside corner, did similar stuff, did similar work on Sunday, I believe. And last couple of notes here from Friday night's lights. We know Roman Wilson, he continues to get work on special teams as a returner and at gunner. The first team gunners right now on special teams for the Steelers, Brandon Eccles and James Pierre. No shock there, especially for James Pierre. That just about did it for Friday Night Lights. Moving on, Saturday, back to a Saturday afternoon practice. You saw a handful of guys take the day off. No Joey Porter Jr. again or Corey Trice. Broderick Jones and Isaac Sayamalu were dressed again. However, Jones was not a part of the first team left tackle reps. I don't think he practiced, through certain drills after that. Also, no Calvin Anderson, backup tackle in general, or Ryan McCullum, the backup center. Calvin Austin took an off day. Aaron Rodgers took an off day. Same thing with Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. So a bit of a slim day there at Latrobe for the Steelers. Couple guys taking some vet days, couple guys injured. 7 shots. Defense again won that 5-2. Mason Rudolph as QB1 went 1 for 3. Will Howard came in. He went 1 for 2, and then Skylar Thompson went 0 for 2 there. Dominance by the defense, as you would expect. It really throughout training camp, at least in the first half of it, defense is always going to win team drills. Some 11-on-11 stuff. Mason Rudolph hit Scotty Miller. Then the defense took over. Alex Highsmith with back-to-back sacks. Great stuff from him. I think Malik Harrison, he had a swat. Jalen Warren had a 6-yard game. Mason Rudolph hit Robert Woods deep. That was probably his best play. The defense kind of dominated in all forms of that practice. However, Will Howard then, he came in. It was the Will Howard show Saturday, I'll tell you what. 25-yard hookup with Pat Freiermuth. He then used those legs that we have been suspecting he will use a lot here coming up, starting on Sunday with the preseason game. 30-yard fake handoff for him. And then he wrapped up practice with a 7-on-7, with some 7-on-7 work. Had back-to-back touchdowns to Kenneth Gainwell and Evan Hall. And also had a touchdown to Max Hurlman. So Will Howard was lighting it up. Also, James Pierre, we just talked about him a minute ago. Probably going to make this team first and foremost as a special teamer and a gunner. Maybe he is getting a little bit better coverage-wise. We all know he can be a little rough as a corner out there on the defense, but 2 picks in practice on Saturday. Also had one at Friday Night Lights. So hopefully Pierre can remain red hot. Couple other notes from Saturday practice. Y.A. Black, he continues to impress. Has shown off a little bit of his pass rush work to go along with his excellent run defense and swatting of the footballs. So great stuff from him. And Mike Tomlin, after practice, he spoke to the media, said that Corey Trice and Calvin Anderson, they will be out more than a few days. So some longer-term injuries for those two. However, some short-term stuff for the likes of Ezezi Otomemwo, DJ Thomas Jones, Ryan McCullum, Joey Porter Jr. So already soft tissue injuries, they continue being an issue. They got Corey Trice and Calvin Anderson again. And also they got someone else on Sunday, yesterday. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Last thing Tomlin said on Saturday is that there is no plan for Troy Fautanu to play left tackle. Those will mainly be those left tackle snaps in place of Broderick Jones will be taken up by Brady Cook and Spencer Anderson and even Calvin Anderson when he gets healthy. So if we were thinking that, Troy Fautanu would move back to left tackle, he says it's not going to happen. I share the sentiment of most fans that I would love to see Troy Fautanu go back over there. I mean, he played there in college. Now, in college, that was the, front side blocker for a left-handed Michael Penix at Washington. But still, though, Fautanu, natural left tackle in college. I think that offensive line won the award for best collegiate offensive line that year.
So if Jones is continuing to trend towards a bust, which I think it's fair to say that he is, why not, why instead of, holding out hope for a sliding Jones, don't let one wrong then make you make two. Just cut your losses and move Fautanu back over the left. But hey, not in charge. At least Fautanu looks, better at right tackle than Broderick Jones did. So that's good to see there. Moving on to yesterday's practice, Sunday. Deshaun Elliott, first down on the field, was on the jugs machine. Mason McCormick and Peyton Wilson followed. No Calvin Austin for the second day in a row, continuing to deal with his undisclosed injury. Joey Porter Jr. again missing. However, DJ Thomas Jones was back, and per usual, Broderick Jones and Isaac Seumalo were taking first-team reps, but I think, they were a little light in the practice portion, the actual, live practice portion of yesterday's ordeal. Seventh-round rookie cornerback Dante Kent. He is also a new guy to reach the list of guys dealing with injuries. He was in a walking boot on his right foot. Pat Freiermuth took a vet day off. And also offensive lineman Gareth Warren, who's trying to make this team as a reserve offensive lineman. He did also not practice. Before we get into the practice itself yesterday, interesting, we talked about Terry McLaurin in the Steelers being in contact with the Commanders about Scary Terry on Saturday at Steelers training camp. Was wondering, what do I think about this in the time? Ian Rappaport was in Latrobe. Now, we had Pat McAfee and his whole entourage at training camp on Wednesday. Yesterday, Rappaport, one of the top NFL insiders, all of a sudden makes an appearance at Latrobe. He also, from what I heard, was talking with Omar Khan, maybe trying to pick Omar's brain, but I think he was just, continuing his tours of training camps and was just there to get some interviews and whatnot. So we'll table that in the back of our mind for possibly a later discussion. But right now, not going to think too much of it. Before I continue on, here we got a comment in the comments section. Jonathan Harvey, welcome back, Jonathan. Steelers have a team right now to a 5th seed or a 3rd seed win the division. Yeah, they are built. I think, they could win the division, could be a top wild card seed. However, I think defense, not too many glaring questions for them. However, let's talk about, training camp here. Aaron Rodgers, still developing chemistry with his pass catchers, still, learning the offense. Also, is he going to be able to hold up for the full year? So Rodgers, he's a big question mark. And also the offensive line, especially at left tackle, Broderick Jones, a massive question mark there. Two glaring issues right there that teams who are going to, win the division or be a top wildcard team, those teams don't have those sorts of questions. So I do think the Steelers have the potential to do that, Jonathan. However, at least those two big questions, they need to go the right way for the Steelers and quite quickly early on in the year, in the season. Back to the training camp update here into the practice itself yesterday. The Steelers defense again dominated 7 shots. I think they almost had a clean sweep of 7 shots. They won it 6-1. The Steelers went 0 for 5 with the first team and second team offenses. Then Will Howard went in there, gave the ball to Evan Hall. That ended the drought. So yeah, 0 for 5. Just talked about those question marks there, Jonathan. Aaron Rodgers and the first team offense still learning each other right now. Terrible showing in 7 shots, and then that continued throughout practice. In the 7-on-7 portion of practice, Rodgers was looking for DK Metcalf on one move, and Rodgers sailed the ball a little bit out of reach. And then on the second route, on the second rep, Roman Wilson won his route, and Rogers, missed him, was telling Wilson, hey, adjust your route this way, then I'll make that completion. So tough showing for the offense throughout practice. I would like to think that this is just them for at least, a good bit, them going against an elite defense, but it is worrying for the offense. Part of that elite defense, Y.A. Black, we mentioned him. He had a good day at Friday Night Lights. Continued that Sunday. Was snuffing out runs left and right. Also, Sebastian Castro, undrafted free agent safety out of Iowa. I probably have delusional, high expectations for him. I liked him coming out of the draft. I thought it was crazy he went undrafted, and I wanted the Steelers to pick him up. They did. He made a one-handed interception in practice yesterday off of Will Howard to boot. So good stuff there. Broderick Jones, I think he had a bounce back performance in one-on-ones. So at least, after Arrow, pointing down for the past couple of practices, it now had a point up for once. That was pretty much all that happened at practice yesterday. Not too much. I think that was the guys, just trying to get to the off day today. No practice today from the Steelers. After practice yesterday, Mike Tomlin said that Alex Highsmith left with a potential groin injury. That's bad. That's really bad. Why the hell is this strength and conditioning staff that they hired out of Boston College last year still on this team? I have no freaking clue. Seems like everyone's getting a groin injury last year, continuing this year. It especially sucks for Highsmith because he dealt with this BS last year, and it's continuing this year. After learning this now, Highsmith dealing with a groin injury, don't expect to see him in any preseason games. You'll probably see him get put in bubble wrap and put in his case until week 1 against the Jets. So that sucks. Also, one other thing here from practice yesterday. I wonder if this is just them, experimenting just like how they did with Kendrick Green last year or 2 years ago. Mark Robinson, remember how we told him? Remember how we just talked about him being a dominant force in backs on backers and being a heat-seeking missile with a broken guidance chip? He was at fullback on offense for practice. And I think the Steelers, they might experiment with that moving forward. And I think Robinson likes it. Talking about a dude who's not shying away from physicality, can play special teams, but when you put him on defense, not necessarily the most dependable out there. You put him on offense, say, hey, you see this guy? I want you to put him on his ass, and I want you to run him like the longest yard through the back of the end zone into the seats and make a hole for our running back. So I would like to see that for Robinson. Also, I think he was a running back a little bit in college. So, hey, it's not like he's, full-time defensive guy all of a sudden getting moved over to the offense. I would like to see that moving forward. But yeah, that did it for the weekend for the Steelers practices. Like I said, no practice for them today, so nothing to talk about there. They did make a couple of roster moves since we last spoke. I think it was on Friday we talked about them officially re-signing defensive tackle Braden Fehoko and placing defensive tackle Dean Lowry on the injured reserved list. Lowry now could, take his injury settlement and go home if the Steelers, want to give him it, or else, if he remains on IR throughout the rest of, he could just stay on the team and his season be over. We'll see. Also, I think it was Jeremiah Moon and wide receiver Montana, Lamonius Craig, they have officially been released with their injury settlements. And the last bit of roster moves that the Steelers have made today, they signed the free agent defensive back Daryl Porter Jr. So we all of a sudden have a second Porter Jr. On the Steelers defense, who is a defensive back. Never heard of this guy before. Maybe he, all of a sudden becomes good friends with Joey. So who knows? But yeah, exciting weekend there for the Steelers. More highly anticipated practices coming up this week, and the Steelers' first preseason game coming up Sunday. Can't wait to see it. Before I continue on here, ladies and gentlemen, with the more extra Pittsburgh sports news stories of the weekend, I want to remind you all to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and turn on notifications. Leave a like on this live stream, comment in the live chat just like Jonathan did. Share this live stream as well. Real quick, gonna do a super quick scroll here through X, see if we have any new bits of information since we have been live. Do we have a Pirates starting lineup yet? Yes, we do. First pitch here in about 3 minutes. Spencer Horwitz, Tommy Pham, Nick Gonzalez, O'Neal Cruz, Andrew McCutcheon, Leover Peguero, Jack Sawinski, Joey Bart, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. So it looks like an off day for Brian Reynolds, and they switched around the lineup a little bit. And Johan Oviedo back on the bump in his big league return. Good stuff there. We're going to stick with the Pirates here just to begin the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment of the program here. Just a couple extra news stories in general here today. To make room on the 26-man roster for Johan Oviedo, about to make the start here in a couple of minutes. The Pirates today DFAing left-handed reliever Genesis Cabrera, former Chicago Cub, joined the team earlier this year, made, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 7 appearances, and now he is again getting DFA'd. Hopefully he stays on the team. Was impressed a little bit with him in his showings. Also, the Pirates, one of their not one of their best addition, at least according to MLB Pipeline, Sammy Stafura, prospect, 20-year-old shortstop who the Bucks got from the Cincinnati Reds for Ke'Bryan Hayes. After just 4 games with the Bradenton Marauders in low A for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he is being promoted to high A Greensboro. So a quick promotion there for Stafura, hitting 261 this year with an 800 OPS. Hopefully he will be a quick riser here through the Buck system, but we're going to keep our expectations for the future low on Stafura. Nothing on him, but just waiting to see how the Pirates ruin him, which, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, especially with this general manager and this regime at the helm. One extra Pittsburgh Penguin story here today, which, again, I've said this before here on stream, news about them right now is very scarce until, they begin their training camp. Elliot Friedman, top NHL insider yesterday, was talking about the Penguins and general manager Kyle Dubas. He said that, quote, "I had a couple of people ask me about the possibility of Nick Robertson in Pittsburgh. Kyle Dubas knows him. They got the arbitration settled. The Leafs have to clear some bodies." Nick Robertson, one of the Leafs, bottom 6 young wingers right now, could, maybe develop something more to his game if he was getting more opportunity. Also, I think, like Friedman just said right there, Dubas loves him. The Leafs just settled arbitration with him. They got to clear some cap space. The Penguins, Kyle Dubas has been on the record saying, hey, we're looking to make some good deals with teams looking to clear cap space where we give them something small for a good young player of theirs or a good old player of theirs who's getting paid a lot of money. They also give us a little bit of extra cheddar our way to take on the salary. Maybe we could get a trade like that coming up here soon with the Leafs. Just one extra thing here, or excuse me, two extra things here from the Steelers before we wrap up. I meant to talk about this on Friday, but I sort of got taken up by, the Pirates and just them hilariously being bad. George Pickens was on some sort of podcast or Dallas radio station, and he was talking about joining the Cowboys and how so much the grass is greener on the other side. Was talking about, I understand what camaraderie is more here than I did in Pittsburgh. The Cowboys, they are synonymous with Super Bowls. That to me, and I'm looking here at a video of Stephen A. Smith, going nuclear on George Pickens. It seems like Pickens is already drinking the Kool-Aid down there in Dallas, and it is not the Kool-Aid that you want to be drinking. That place is a circus down there. He's going to get caught up in it. He's going to implode. Also, like the Stephen A. Smith said, the Dallas Cowboys, last I checked, they only have 5 Super Bowl rings. The Steelers have 6. So, going to leave that there. Last thing here, piece of football news. Have no idea how this is going to affect the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, but it may in the future. Who knows? The NFLPA, after their executive director, I believe Lloyd Hollowell or something like that, resigned after doing some not so sketchy but inappropriate stuff with some of the NFLPA money, resigned. David White was elected over the weekend as the new NFLPA interim executive director. So that's that for the extra Pittsburgh sports news. I think that's going to do it here today, ladies and gentlemen. Johan Oviedo just threw out first pitch in the Pirates and Giants game. Keep forgetting that he is 6'6", 6'7". He is a massive guy up there towering the mound along with the likes of Paul Skeens. So hopefully some good stuff for him, and hopefully the fans let their frustrations be heard tonight at PNC Park. Wouldn't have it any other way for this general manager and this owner. They deserve it. All the sell the team chants and boos that can possibly be delivered, they deserve it all. So I think that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. For the final time, thank you very much. Appreciate you tuning in here tonight. Appreciate you, Jonathan, chiming in the comment. One last time, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, leave a like, drop a comment on this live stream, and share this live stream after the fact. Also, once again, be sure to give me a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR, and come back later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60, a new 60-second or less news video that I have been doing here on the channel. Thank you for joining me. Have a good rest of your Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, 5:30-ish. We'll recap Steelers training camp and what the Pirates do tonight and any other news that comes along the way. Thank you. See you. Have a good rest of your Monday night. Peace.